Holt's sister called and said, "I've got cancer." And because her husband had passed away, he was all she had left. She decided to come stay with us, and we figured 6 months or a year, she'd be with us for however long it took. She arrived. We arranged for hospice to come in and assess her. And that was a Friday afternoon. She's toddling around the house with her cane. And they knew where she was. On Monday, when the hospice nurse returned, Ranette was immobilized and no longer speaking. It was so swift and so immediate and so painful to see that demise. But when she decided it was time to quit therapy, she also decided it was time to go home to her Lord. In the next few days, she didn't move. She turned, that beautiful creamy skin turned to an ashy gray, and we physically had to move her. One afternoon, the hospice nurse says, "Who's she holding on for? Who has she not talked to?" "Our son Matthew." We had been so consumed by her, we hadn't even thought to call Matthew. Texted, "Matt, call right now." And he was able to step out of work for just a moment and say, "Aunt Ranette, I love you, goodbye." And in that moment, she said, "Well, hello, Matt." My husband, the hospice nurse, the chaplain, her 2 friends, we all jumped with surprise, absolute delight. But that's all she said. Her skin was still that ashy gray color. And she had converted to Catholicism. I'd never heard Catholic last rites before, but the priest had been called in from her friends. And in that moment, they physically call Father Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Moses, David to the front gates of heaven to welcome their sister home. And the woman who was ashy gray and couldn't move, physically we had to move her, pivoted from her hips with her arms outstretched, and this soft yellow glow not only filled her face, but it lit the entire room. We saw the physical light of God in that moment. And in that moment of death was the beauty of life. And it's the most beautiful moment of my entire life.